Hello everyone, sorry I'm late, Kirby1 here, and welcome back to Twin Plains, turn 14, I think it should be. I don't have any battles this turn, but that doesn't mean that there hasn't been anything interesting that we've seen, so we'll get into that in a little bit, but we're gonna start with just yet another misfortune event in Asphodel. Luckily, it's not anything particularly important other than an assassination attempt on our free peasant. And I say free, although he was happening to cost us 24 gold a year. And so I'm glad to see that go. Other than that, we get even more misfortune, because misfortune breeds misfortune. And extra province defense, that would be here, so we're up to 21 in case anybody in this general area felt like going in there. So we'll get to our moves first, so that I can sort of then get into the context of what I've seen and what kind of things might be brewing in the wider world. So over here, we've got the decision to move over into this throne, and the reason for that is, well, we don't really see a whole lot on the Agartha front, so we're not really worried about them moving in on us, but we haven't been talking with them recently. We see Ind over here, but they're have been talking with us and haven't really indicated that they're aggressive to us at all, so I'm not concerned about this potentially becoming a thing, and it doesn't sound like they are interested in fighting any of the other land nations, so they're saving their troops for potentially going down into the caves and getting to fight the underwater nations, so I don't expect them to be starting a war with Agartha. Meanwhile, Nazca has been continuing to expand, as well as Phlegra, and they are right here and have bumped. So we had Nazca take this from independence rather successfully, and then Phlegra came in and actually absolutely trounced what Nazca had brought. So even though it wasn't really that big, it was kind of a standard expansion army, and their Inca got away, so he is probably here, although we don't see him in the scouting report. Now, in addition to that, we do have Phlegra right here, and this can mean one of two things. Either he's building a fort because he's been just sort of sitting here waiting, or he is potentially planning to move in on here. We really have not a whole lot. This is a pretty sparsely defended area and a bit far from our cap. Now, we can get pretty far. We can get a 2-province move out of most of our stuff because of their pretty excellent map move, and also being larger, we get a little bit of extra map move as well. So we may or may not need to do that. But other than that, the only other place that he could go is either back into his lands or up into Nazca, which is not particularly far. His cap is only 2 provinces away. In addition to that, we see two things. We see from our scout that Nazca hasn't cleared his cap circle yet of Indies, and on top of that, has lost this province to a misfortune event of some kind. So he's not really getting the full potential of his resources out there. He's also put a fort up here, and he has this throne province, which is the throne of law right here, because that's the only claimed throne that we see on the map so far. And then other than that, yeah, so it's an interesting potential set of developments, and since we'll be going right into the next turn, we'll see how that escalates pretty quickly in one way or another. But other than that, let's focus back on where we are. So we finally begin getting into research, and we're going to go up to enchantment 4. I don't recall if I said this last time, but that's just so that we can get twice born on our poor panic apostate right here, so that we can try and suicide him and get him out of this yucky lycanthrope's amulet. And then as far as recruitment goes, we're getting some leaders. This is because we need some more leadership for our troops, and that way we can have a little bit more diversity in terms of being able to spread our forces out into stealthy raiding parties with black centaurs and stuff like that if we need to. Aside from that, we're putting up our third carrion fort, so we'll have 4 forts total, and then we'll be dumping our gold into mages and more mages so we can do research. As far as the cave layer, scouting continues. We see a lot of Agartha under here, and we're going to wait and see how long it takes for them to clear these shades and shade beasts. This little section right here, we know that Pelagia has expanded into, and Atlantis was over here somewhere, so they'll be filling out the water, because I could go down in and help out, clear out some of this and take some of the water provinces for myself, but it's not a big priority right now. These caves right here are connected to places that I can reach, or at least this one is. And this one is down here, so I could get these 3 and then put a fungal fort right here. We see right here that Phlegra has expanded into the caves a little bit and is right underneath Nazca's throne province, interestingly enough. Alright, so yeah, we are sending a little bit of extra chaff group right here. I think this should be able to clear out the Zots. Not sure about the Ko-Onis. Those guys are, or Bakemono and Ko-Onis, those guys can be kind of a pain in the butt to deal with in caves because of their attack density. Especially for mannequins, they're not super great at that. So we'll see how that plays out. We are recruiting a bunch of cavemen to help see if we can clear out some expansion. And this province right here is one that we've promised to let Ind take and have for himself, so we're not going to be contesting that. Alright, that's enough of me blabbling. I think there is one more important thing that I am doing as well, which is dumping a whole lot of money. This is where all my money is going this turn. A whole lot of money into the shipwreckers, because I saw them come up and they're already more expensive for me as Asphodel. But I figured that will help me get into the water. Maybe I can take this if Agartha hasn't yet and put a little pressure there. I'll be able to clear out some of these other underwater provinces on my own with mannequins. But the other thing I thought of is maybe, I'm not 100% sure how the shipwreckers will line up. If this has a bunch of extra mages, it doesn't say it has mind lords, but if it has any other kind of mages that will summon water elementals or things like that, it might be a problem. But Shark Tribe versus the War Shamblers might be a good matchup, but there are a lot of them, so we'll see. I haven't really had much experience with that kind of matchup, so it's a thought of maybe going in on here on this throne with recruiting them here. And aside from that, if Phlegra does decide to go in on us and we buy the shipwreckers, then that'll be another backup option for us to help defend on that front, and it will put pressure also on this fort if I need to do that. So we'll see how that pans out and what I decide to do with that, but that's what I've done this turn, and we'll move right on into turn 15. So here we are, turn 15, and we see another battle between Phlegra and Nazca, and this one is most decidedly not a bump. Aside from that, a couple more expansions, and then we've got our own, but we'll get to our throne attack in a bit. We see that Phlegra has gone right in onto Nazca's throne right here, and is bringing up a whole bunch of reinforcements. In addition to that, while I didn't have a scout here because I wanted to see if he was building a fort here, Phlegra has indeed moved also in this direction to put pressure on Nazca's cap. So this is a pretty big move from Phlegra to go in on hard on Nazca, and actually I have decided to take this as my opportunity as well to go right back in hard on Phlegra. Now first we'll go right into the spoiled battle of fighting the throne province. We've got, I don't remember if we pinged here or not, but a couple of mages, elemental mages, and then some, yeah, just general horde of skeleton spammers, and a few drakes as well, but not really anything that is particularly scary or threatening to me. And I have a big line of both black centaurs and black minotaurs that are just going to roll over all of this pretty easily, chop them up and drive them back, and we don't take very many losses from that. Only 2 black minotaurs lost, and just a handful of chaff as well. So because of that, this is a strong force, and we are going straight in to put pressure on Phlegra's cap. Going in this way with our massive force, and then it just so happens that I have the shipwreckers that I did manage to purchase, and they're going to go put pressure in this direction. I feel like, given the trajectory of Phlegra's advance, the attack is going to be on Nazca is going to be taking a lot of his attention and a lot of his forces. He's got 20 Gigantia warriors over here and 2 Phlegran tyrants. These guys are slow to recruit, so that's a lot of his capital recruitment. And the rest surely must be this group that is pretty much up here. Now, he did seem to be expanding into the caves, so we don't know how much he put down there. And we still haven't seen his pretender. Now, rumors from Agartha have started to suggest that he might have taken a Drakon, which is why early on in the game he had gotten all the way down here next to Agartha's cap circle. But I haven't seen it, and I have a lot of Harpy Scouts everywhere, and I'm putting them in all sorts of places. So that may or may not be a problem, but we will see. An Awake Drakon could pose a substantial problem even with this force that we send up here. Now, the Black Minotaurs would be able to chop them up, but given the gas attack and all the multiple attacks that a Drakon has, I don't know quite yet if a Drakon would be able to chop these guys up faster than they could chop him up. So it'll be, well, if he does have a Drakon, it'll be an interesting prospect to see. Of course, misfortune strikes again and is not giving us a moment's peace. This apparently was a werewolf event that got patrolled out. It was not an event, it was sneaking enemies that were discovered. So these werewolves are just everywhere. I can't seem to shake them, and I can't seem to get them on my side to be able to do my God's will of conquering the world. So it just annoying as heck, but at least it didn't cancel fort the production of putting a fort down like the last one did. It's just annoyingly halting recruitment for a little while. Speaking of recruitment, we're getting Dryad Hags and more Panic Apostates, and this allows us to flesh out recruitment, although I think we're starting to run low on recruitment points. So we have already cut Asphodel's population down to 17,000, so that's pop kill for you. And aside from that, we're bringing up really a lot of mannequins. We're bringing some black centaurs, and this will be transferred from the Harpy to the Hierophant, and then a bunch of mannequins for chaff and siege. And then we're bringing another small raiding force this way because we see he only has one officer and a few henchmen, and will then circle around this way if he doesn't put up much resistance. And aside from that, yeah, so that's the plan. We've successfully taken this throne. We won't claim it yet, but the throne that it is the throne of bureaucracy. I don't really like getting this, but it's not bad. The order bonus will help us because order will allow us to get more troops in our cap, and also it will put some free PD everywhere. It'll spread our dominion, which is a thing, like I said, that as this particular playthrough of Asphodel I want. But the gold is kind of annoying. It cuts down on our income, which is not something that I need or want right now, although my income is doing pretty well. And then back down in the caves, like I said, we're going to be taking this group, and we're going to be throwing it right in here to these Zots. And this actually goes right down into the ocean world, and so we'll see if anybody has expanded there quite yet. Looks like it might be either Atlantis or Pelagia based on where it is comparatively to these provinces right here. And we do see Agartha taking this province right here. Losses free, so that's good for him, although less good for me because with the new pending war that I'm going to be prosecuting over here, I don't have plans to be taking this area from him, or not from him, but to deny him resources and income, which as long as I can get him to stay off my back while I'm doing this, it should be alright for me. We got patrolled out here, so he's patrolling with a little bit, has quite a bit of PD. Not 100% sure if this is the usual amount or more than usual, so interesting. He might have put all this there when he was worried about the Drakon, so not sure. And then Ind has expanded here, so he may be going down into the caves over here as well. Anyways, yeah, so it's going to be an interesting turn, and I'm not going to leave you guys on a cliffhanger because, I mean, this video has only been 2 turns so far, so let's get into a 3rd turn, and then we'll see how the roles reversal of the Phlegron invasion of Nazca has gone, and how he does fighting Nazca, and then how we do fighting Phlegra in turn 16. Here we are, turn 16, and so the 2 attacks that we've made into Phlegra, number 1 has gone unopposed, and number 2 has also gone unopposed, although he did put a bit of PD here, but War Shambler's gonna shamble, so there's that. Now, we cleared off the annoying werewolves over here, relatively losses free, happily getting rid of some more peasants, so we don't have to pay them. And then this was a bit rough on our expansion, but these guys are, you know, super chaffy, so yeah, it just landed in a way that was not super great for our losses, but we didn't lose the commander, so as far as that goes, I'll touch on that real quick. We are going to make an attempt for these Bakemono and Ko-Oni with what's left, because it doesn't look like there's a lot, but we'll see how it goes. To be honest, this is not a great idea. Every time you think that Bakemono and Ko-Oni are an easy target, they are not. So I would not recommend doing this for future reference. But, well, I don't really have anything else for them to be doing. There is indeed a lot of Pelagian troops right here, and we don't really have any contact with them, so that may or may not be a problem. We'll see, because this, well, the Knights of the Deep aren't going to be able to get up here, but some of the other stuff might be able to bump me out of here pretty quickly. But if they don't, we're going to be putting a lab and a temple here, and then putting a grown fortress here, and then we can hold this as a choke point potentially to defend against any future incursions that he might do. Anyways, that's not what you're here for. You're here to see the invasion of Phlegra, and invade we will. So we're going to not merge our attack groups here. We are going, so like what I mean to say is we're not going to send the shipwreckers forward to help with the siege of Phlegra. We are instead going to take this fort and then going to put this fort under siege, his cap, and that will cut all his income, and then we'll see where it goes from here. I guess I decided that this was not enough to move in here after all, so we're going to get a couple more troops and then we'll make a push in this direction. But we're going to send a big force here to siege this down, and this is still a very large force from us. In addition to that, this group can actually go all the way there just because of our ridiculously awesome map move. There's actually a bridge right here. You can barely see it, but because of that, once you put the control move, it's only 17 movement points to get there, which for this whole group is plenty good for moving all the way over there from our province. So it's great that we've pushed right up into Phlegra's cap circle, and we have a lot of easy ability to reinforce. Man, I just cannot get rid of these misfortune events. We had an assassination event in addition to Vine Men attacking us. Luckily for us, the PD managed to kill off pretty much all of the chaff groups, but there are still a couple of woodhenge druids. No dark vine, so that's good for us. So this will be able to clear that out easily, but it's really delaying our ability to reinforce things that we actually want to be using to fight with. In addition to that, we're moving out a massive stack with a Dryad Hag to continue the push in this direction. And then, yeah, so that's where we're at there. Research is going apace. We're up to almost 100 research right now, which is honestly very pathetic for turn 16, but it is what it is. We had our priorities. And then in addition to that, that's our Panic Apostate going out. We'll start by, I think, site searching here and then going down into the caves to grow that fort. And yeah, so that's the plan. We'll help out Nazca. He did get his cap under siege, but it is not cracked yet. This fort is also not cracked yet, so there may be quite a few Nazcan flyers in here. He certainly didn't lose very much taking the province PD right there, so he wasn't patrolling. But yeah, Nazca's full income is cut right now, so in a sense this is really good for me. I want Phlegrin's troops to be far away so he can't defend his homeland, and I want Nazca and Phlegra to bloody each other in case I then move straight from the Phlegra war right up to mop up whatever Nazca had, and then from there we can maybe clear out and take the whole surface world, and then move down into the water provinces and fight them with an entire plane's worth of free spawn on our side. So I think that's the trajectory of the current plan that we have going for us, and we'll see how that goes. We do want to keep everyone else off our back while we enact our super secret evil plan. There is a large force from Ind, but again, like I said, we haven't really had much of a worry from him. Let's see if we got any messages. No, everybody else is apprehensive of us, as they should be. And yeah. Oh, this is a massive barbarian event that no, sorry, not event. It's still just PD here. Actually, in this case, he is suiciding this guy so he can have another mummy bundle to summon more slaves. But again, that's not going to be something he can do while his fort is under siege. So We'll be interested to see how he defends this. Side note, there's some barbarians right there. But other than that, yeah, wish us luck. We're going in on Phlegra's cap. Right now we don't see a whole lot of anything there, but there may or may not be something that comes up later if he does have a pretender. I still haven't seen it. It's not in his cap. It wasn't here, and it's not in any of these provinces. So I have also gone down into the caves to see if he has it under here, but it doesn't look like it is. So there's Agartha, and there's Oceania, and more Atlantis. So we haven't seen everybody. As a reminder, the other water nations are Yis and Relay. So far we've only seen 3 out of 5 make it to the central cave layer. But yeah, again, rambling, so there you go. That is our turn and our plan, and I will cut the video there, and we'll see how the attack on Phlegra goes next time. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.